under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. You may be seated. I'll call this public hearing to order. This is a public hearing on a rate structure, and also getting along from NRC and the bond, things we have to do. I'll turn it over to Will Hinchy. Get started. He can explain what we're doing here. We're also we have public input on the ordinance that we're trying to pass. We passed or read the first reading. We'll do the second readings tonight. But we'll just take it over.
Yeah, I'll just start out by addressing and telling everybody exactly what we got and the reason we're needing to do this. And then I've got some information I'll pass out, and then we'll just do question, answer, and I'll try my best to answer everything we got. So we've had a 10-year plan, and we'll pass that out. This 10-year plan has been put off for 20-something years probably. So we're finally biting the bullet, taking a loan out through NRC for this money to do this 10-year plan. I have a list of projects on the 10-year plan. We actually have it lined out on how how much each one of those projects is going to cost, including engineering, and then how much we'd actually have left on the first closing to where we could do some more projects. So I'll just go ahead and start that out. And then I know there's going to be a question, how did we come up with what we went up to? Who made that decision? Act 605 was passed by your government, federal government, several years back, and 605 allowed ANRC the authority to come in and look at every single water system and see where their flaws come up and how far behind they were keeping up, and then they could make them change rates to get there. So after we asked for these loans, we had to turn in all of our financial statements. They looked back through it, and they showed that we were $396,000 in the hole to be able to take out this loan. So that's where we come up short. That's where the rate increase comes in. And we'll get into details on that. But I'll go ahead and pass this out.
Thank you.
You want to, sir? You want to look here?
Yeah, we had passed a rate structure in the past, or incremental increase in your water, sewer, every year, 5%, I think it was, which you've incrementally paid, and still came up short. And then to borrow the money, you have to have X amount to back it up, more than 125% or whatever it was. But this is something that ANRC said that in order to make these changes, you're going to have this much money. And even though we've slowly increased it, we still came up short money according to them. So that's what this is for.
Turning our 2023 audit to ANRC, and they had to look at it. And in doing that, they had to show that we covered everything we spent last year as far as our operation and maintenance money, all of our debt services that we already had. We actually had to cover that at 1.1 or 110%. So they went through there and made sure that, and they had to put in this new amount, which is right under $12 million is what we've asked for. And we got awarded. We got awarded $11,888,000. So that's what was granted to us. But then when they did that, our sewer, we were so bad behind on sewer. So don't get me wrong, it's not water. We have made lots of increases on water, and we've done better. We're making money on water, but we're having to take that water money and subsidize sewer. We've been subsidizing sewer since the beginning of time. And so on that, even though we transferred $400,000 over to the sewer, and we come up with that showing that we were in the good $400,000 on that 2023 audit, that didn't make up enough. We were still $396,000 in the negative to be able to cover this debt. So that's where we looked at. And we had a workshop with the water board showing the city council just different rate structures. We really could not afford to do it all to the sewer because I only have 942 paying sewer customers. So if I took $396,000 and divided that by 942, it was just going to be a ridiculous amount. There's no way to cover it. And I think it was like $65 per customer we were going to have to raise. So we went ahead and we did a debt service. What is proposed is we have done a debt service rate on all customers. That's going to be 2,968 customers. And that debt service is going to say on your bill you're gonna see a debt service line item that says $6. So if you just have water from me, your water bill is gonna go up $6. If you're a residential customer and you have water and sewer, it's gonna go up $12. It's gonna go up $6 on that line item that says debt service, and your minimum sewer bill is going up $6. So if you're a residential customer, your minimum bill is gonna be $12 higher than what it was before. It doesn't matter how much water you use, it's not on a per thousand rate, it's on the minimum bill. And that's this, so we presented that to NRC and they approved it. They approved that we come up with that $396,000. They said we were in the hole. But at this point, I will open it up for questions. I do have a printout here. I do not have enough for everybody, but if you're concerned, if you're a business owner or something in town, I can go through and tell you how much more yours is going to go up. But basically, if you're a residential customer and you've got water and sewer, you're going up $12 a month. And if you're just a water customer only, you're going up $6. So at this time, if anybody's got any questions, we'll answer.
Just for sewer repairs and upgrades?
It's not. So on that list, this total list here is all of the upgrades that we are going to do on the first round. On the sewer, we're doing manhole rehab and doing some new sewer line repairs. We're going to do some bursting and pull new line in between on our sewer lines. Our infiltration in this system is outrageous. So we're selling a certain amount of water to people, and those water customers are paying a sewer rate based on how many gallons they use, and then I'm treating 6 times that at the wastewater plant. So that's where our main goal is at the wastewater plant, is get that infiltration, get that rainwater out of the system where I'm only treating waste, and that'll cut the chemical costs down, and that's the whole goal. But in that, the first stage, we've got that. We have a sewer line over here next to the creek that is exposed in the bank of the creek, and it's a 12-inch main sewer main. And we're going to have to move it. We're going to have to move it out of the riverway, and we're going to bore the mountain and actually put it in the bluff line. So, you can see that's that second line item there. That's going to come in at, the bid actually come in at $995,000.
Okay, all right. The sewer doesn't concern me because we don't have it.
Yep.
My concern is the water. Okay. What is all this upgrade stuff? The filter media bid, what is the filter?
Okay, so that is at the water treatment plant.
Okay.
That's the main basic process of treating our water. We have 4 stages of filter media, and they have not been changed in years. They've got multi-stage filters. You've got, as far as gravel, Kyle can go into these details, but we did a core test on that, and when we did that core, it come back that it needed to be replaced, basically. So that is that filter media, and that is the largest cost.
Yeah.
But that is treating the water. If we don't do that and get caught back up,
Because mainly is why I'm asking, because this is my drinking water.
At one place, we have 2 meters.
I don't drink the water, but this is what come out of the tap. And they say it's not rust because it's not metal lines.
okay.
I was told it was manganese.
Yeah, so.
I've talked. You live at Denard.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Good news. We're trying to take fluoride out of our water.
Good.
About
That's
time,
good.
because it's
But-
neurotoxin.
Yeah.
We don't
So-
let our animals drink this.
Reason why
Yeah.
everybody has
We
Alzheimer's.
filter it.
Yeah.
And we got
yeah,
a
and
filter.
I've talked to you.
Yeah.
And the filter
And I
lasts
asked
about
her-
2 months.
Filter that clogged up in less than 2 months
Yeah.
that I have to put on because my
Yeah.
animals will not
We
drink.
thought it was rusty
My
pipe.
animals won't drink.
right
it.
after your galvanized water lines, correct?
Huh?
Galvanized water lines
No,
under your house?
no,
Well, when I talked to you before, you told me you had galvanized water lines.
no.
No,
Council meeting
no,
will start
that's
at
not-
6.
No.
So,
Ah.
yeah, you're not late.
I don't
Ours
have
is-
galvanized. You said they were PVC, so there's no rust, that it was.
No,
I said our water
house
mains
is not.
are-
No, it's
are-
all PVC
yeah.
and,
Yeah,
Thanks.
everything's PVC. But this is like orange. I thought it was rust, and I was informed that it was not rust, it was manganese.
It is manganese.
Yeah.
Yes.
so is the filter gonna,
It helps. We treat promagonate, and I will tell you, Years ago, they did not add promanganate to the water, and that promanganate actually binds to that manganese and makes it settle out. And what you're seeing is years and years and years of that waterline buildup. It's on the waterline. When we cut into it, that's what the inside of our waterline looks like. And until those water lines are replaced, every time we have a break and we recharge, some of that is breaking free. But I will tell you, and the health department will tell you, that manganese is not harmful for human consumption.
It is in high levels.
Just like
I mean, that's high levels. You know.
Yeah, so you feed zinc polyphosphate for a binder, so that to polish it. So on the polishing step, before it goes out of their plant, they also feed. You can feed either zinc orthophosphate or zinc polyphosphate that will bind the iron and manganese, and it will keep it from oxidizing again in the system and coming out of solution. So it's considered a secondary contaminant in that it's not like real harmful to human health. Obviously,
Well, they said
exposure a
fluoride
long
wasn't either,
time.
but it is. They
I
said it was for our
agree with-
teeth.
I agree
which
with
is a
you
lie.
on that.
Okay.
But yeah, I think they're feeding the zinc poly to bind it and keep it in suspension rather than settling out in your system.
But there, just a small update, and I don't want to get too much time on it because we're limited, but on that fluoride thing, you're going to start hearing a lot more about it. And it's not just because our new president-elect, it was already in effect. Here in the state of Arkansas, there was one big water system that really fought that, and they were a new water system, they had a lot of money. So they refused, even when the state said that they had to put fluoride, they fought it. Well, it went to federal court, and they just won in federal court saying that EPA had no right to make that a law that we add that. So I have already sent in, and the mayor has already signed my request to the health department asking to be able to stop. They have ignored it, and they have told me that right now I cannot stop. But I see that changing.
Yeah.
I do. I see it changing for the whole state of Arkansas. I see it changing everywhere. But do know that that's something we're wanting to stop.
Yeah, it's a byproduct.
And until EPA comes up with a new limit, because they have what was found in that, and I don't care to share that with anybody. That court case, it's 50-something pages long, and I tried to start reading. But if you ever ask me to forward it to you, I will. If you give me your email address, just pay attention to that last page on what the findings are. Basically, they found that EPA they set a guideline that we had to put 7 parts per million in there, but they had no guide for that. So therefore, they had nothing saying that they should have made us. So just know that we're working on that.
Yeah.
But yes, the filter media is very important, and it's a filtration system. And I think I talked to you, and I don't mean to cause a scare, but do be leery of those home filters. Especially trying to take the chlorine out of it. Chlorine's what keeps the bacteria and everything from building up in there. And when you try to start taking that out,
Yeah, but
things
when
can
you
grow.
Smell that chlorine?
Yeah.
That's not good for you.
Well, if you're on Denard's system right now, you're getting at our main pump station, Denard. We have to check a chlorine level every day, and we're topping out at a 0.6. It's never any higher than a 0.6. It leaves the water plant at a 1, so that's not a real high.
So
Just
is
know.
it true that in Clinton that the sewer plant is above the water plant? I heard that.
with the discharge of the
The
wastewater.
discharge.
The discharge for our sewer plant does go into the river, and the river does eventually flow into the lake. Yes, but it's not just Clinton's. I'll just tell you.
Most places do that. Yeah.
But you've got Leslie's wastewater treatment plant eventually makes it to our lake. But do know this. The level of testing and everything that goes at that wastewater plant is twice as hard as it is for me to put it into the public water system. It's just more strenuous. So that should not be a concern. It sounds bad.
Yeah.
It really does, but that should not be a concern at this time. Yes.
My water bill's double because I have sewer. Can they not put like a sewer meter? Because I don't wash my car, I don't water my garden, I don't do anything. I shower and wash dishes. That's all I do. My water bill, my sewer is, because of the sewer, it's double.
Yeah, so the way we base our rate is off of what goes through your meter. And it's the only way we have to meter it. So we have to meter just what goes in to see what we charge for treating the waste. That's common practice. If we were to meter your outfall of your house, we would have to charge a lot more.
Well,
A
they
meter
said-
to do that, we do have a meter, effluent meter like that at our wastewater plant. And we're fixing to put one on the influent side of that. But if we were having to put one of those at every household, it would be more than double your water bill.
Well, years ago, they said that they had to raise the rate so that they could, put new pipes, put new lines down. And every couple of weeks, the line, we have busted water lines out there between Ingram's Tire and, out on 95 West.
Yeah.
Lines are old. That two places is constantly.
Yeah, I agree. 95
I don't know why.
West is,
The water department is wasting their time covering it up. Why don't they just put a door, fill the box, pull it a door? It's more time
we
covering it up.
would if the water line would hold. We have to put that dirt back in there and hold it down. So we've got 100-year-old water pipes in the ground, or older, so on the water side, we'll look at it real quick. After doing the projects that we've already actually accepted bids on and everything, we have $1.5 million left on this fund. And that is what we're gonna go back to ANRC and actually ask for replacing some water lines. And 95 West, inside city limits, is a main priority for me. So that is where most of it breaks right there. We do have a couple other trouble areas, and those trouble areas would be what we try to hit first.
So where is actually all the money, where does it actually go?
Before this loan,
Yeah, there's a lot of money that comes in from all the people that live around here in Buren County. Where is it mismanagement of money?
I would hope not, since I'm the manager.
Okay, right, but
no,
bring in a lot of money. Where's it all going?
So our audits are public knowledge. At any point, if you want to see that, you'll see operation and maintenance is our biggest expense.
Right.
That and our electrical
doubled in the
bills.
last 3 years also.
Our electric bill each month's over $75,000. So just know, I may bring in $100,000 a year or a month from all my customers, but $75,000 of that's going out right away to electric bill. And then we got chemical cost. We got in the past 3 years. So last year on our budget, when I looked at my operation and maintenance on my expenses, I did 15% because all my pipe suppliers said go up 15%. We busted that budget just on materials and stuff that we bought to fix leaks. A 2-inch water valve went from being $250 to $450 for one valve. So just know parts are outrageous. I just ordered, I've had 2 parts on back order that have to come out of, they come out of Israel. And we finally got them in. Each one of those are 14-inch Hymax. They were $2,500 a piece. So parts and stuff's expensive.
So how long is the loan for?
20 years.
20 years?
Yes.
20 years, so I gotta really double that and figure it out. So will the prices go back down then after that?
I will assure you,
Or is it
let's
gonna
put it this way, and
continue to
I told the city council the same thing. Told the city council the same thing. It's not likely. It's not likely. Yes, that $6 debt service is going to stay on there for that 20 years. Hopefully,
And go up.
hopefully, when we take out another note after that 20 years, it's just that $6 that covers it.
So you're
But
saying
yes,
the next
it's on
20
there
years it's
saying
not
that
gonna
it'll come
raise?
off, but don't look for it to come off. I'll be completely honest. It's not going to come off.
No, that's not what he's saying because let me explain it. Of course, we had to go to a class,
Yeah.
the ANRC, we had to go to this class, and the main thing you learn on there is you can either raise your rates periodically, or the state's going to make you raise your rates. They've got the power to do that now. Every 3 to 5 years, they have to audit your system, and they are going to make you raise your rates.
Now with the new state rules, the new act, I have to turn in to ANRC a rate study done by a professional, approved rate study person. It has to be done every 5 years. And they're doing it on every system. And they started out with the smaller systems had to have theirs first. Ours isn't due for another 2 years. But we had to go ahead and pretty much provide one for us to get approved for the loan. So basically, ANRC said, yes, we'll loan you this $12 million, but you have to go up this much. So so if we don't pass this rate tonight, after this public hearing, then we will get the loan. We'll still maintain and operate, but there just won't be any filter meter changed out. There won't be any tanks getting painted and stuff like that.
Part of
So
the act you might mention is the 5% gross revenue that you have to save. So that would cause your rate to go up regardless, even if you didn't do these projects. Act 605 requires 5% of gross revenue to be saved in a depreciation account for maintenance.
yes,
Because so many systems haven't raised rates in so long, they can't keep up just with maintenance costs. So the state, right or wrong, is trying to step in as, father figure and say, you have to do this to maintain water access.
605 first come out trying to. People had public hearings like this right now, and they were worried that it was misuse of funds. So this law come up trying to keep cities from overcharging people. In this example, Denard, from keeping the city rates low and charging the other people than keeping the city rates low. So that's actually the background on how this come out. And then once the government got involved, whoever thought it was a good idea for the government to say how you raise your rates, because they just raise them to whatever they want to, even though we don't agree to it. This rate increase is not what we've come up with, it's what the government's approved. And it's more than what we would have done if we'd had to do it in the House. We did another one 5 years ago. We didn't do it big enough because everything went up so much. But I'm not trying to hide anything. If anybody wants to come and look through, I will present whatever it is, but this is our shortcoming, with all the rate increases. And I don't like blaming everything on COVID, but COVID hurt the little man. Didn't ever hurt me. We never quit working or anything. But when factories shut down and they open back up, all material went higher. It's bad. Any other questions?
So, excuse me, are you just a citizen or are you somebody?
No, sir, the design engineer.
You're
for
the
these
design
projects.
engineer?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So if you have specific project questions, I'm happy to answer that.
Okay. 'Cause I was just wondering, because you were like explaining things differently, so I knew you weren't just a citizen.
Yeah, he talks over my head.
Yeah.
But if there's any other questions about any of the projects or the reason, the amount, or anything, when we looked at this, everyone, I'm not trying to overcharge the fixed income people. We went up on the commercial rate a lot more than we did up on the residential rate. Like I said, our residential customer, if you're water answer, it's $12 more. If you are a inside commercial with sewer, you're going up $41.
So I bought property that was, next door, but then it was all one piece, but it was divided at some point, which wasn't very long ago.
Mhm.
So I have 2 meters instead of it being joined.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be per meter, not per customer. Because that doesn't make
Per
any
meter,
sense.
right?
It is per meter.
It's per meter.
It is
Yeah,
per meter.
because I don't have sewer, but I gotta pay, $24 extra.
$12
Okay,
extra.
all right, $12 extra, all right,
Yeah.
no sewer.
Yeah,
$12 extra
you'll
every
be-
month.
Yes. So
And I'm a fixed income because I'm not working. I'm retired, so.
yeah. So if you've got 2 meters, it's going to go up $6 per meter. Yes, per bill.
So is there any way we can combine this while we're here? Because we've been wanting to do that. So we have to do it from whichever side we want, and do it ourselves.
Yeah,
You
so
probably
it just
need to do
depends.
that.
So state law, you have to have, so each household has to have a separate meter. So,
There's not a household.
yeah, so
So it's
depending
just-
on why you have 2 meters, yes, some could be gotten rid of. And another thing you were talking about, and I know it may not be in your instance, but if you live in city limits and you are on city sewer and you have a beautiful garden and you water your yard and everything like that, you can get an irrigation meter and that won't be charged the city sewer. So there's options. So,
Okay, we'll have to talk, because the other property, there's no residence. It's just land.
Just like.
yeah. Yeah, so if
It
it's,
used to be years ago.
yeah, so if you still got it active and it's not going to a residence, or if it's not going to a business, if you're
We
not,
just have
if
a-
you're not selling produce or something out of this and having it, and it's just there, there's no reason to have 2 meters.
Well, we have a hydrant there, and we just use it to feed the cows.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
water.
but yes, that would be, it would get $6 more on that minimum bill too.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
So I see a couple of commercial customers in here. We haven't addressed that. So I do know, I want you to know, and I'll tell any commercial customers listening out there, we did raise the commercial customers more because we were trying to keep fixed income and not go up as much on the city sewer if you're a resident in town. So.
And industrial even more than that.
Yes, we're not just picking on you guys. We went up industrial. We went up $615 minimum bill if you're an industrial customer. That's the big customers in town. Our chicken plant in town, stuff like that. We're not picking on the little guys. We went up $650. So that total of us going up $615 minimum bill on them and us going up $41 on the commercial customers left us to that $6 on sewer for the residential customers. We divided that out and still had to meet that $396,000 deficit.
Quite a bit of discussion on that too, that very bill, how much you going up on commercial, how much on industrial, how much on mom and pop or grandma that's on that, look, I got this much money and that's all I'm gonna get. And he favor the small fixed income type or 6 and 6. Pretty tougher on commercial. Some are restaurants, some just have a commercial. It's not something that we enjoy doing at all. And everybody's been pretty patient. Several years ago, it took a while to even get a rate increase. I think 3 or 4 years we worked on it and still didn't get enough. And I hate to say that, but if you go this much, we'll be okay. Like Will said, he'll tell you the truth. We got us a water and sewer commission. They get paid nothing. They come in, they're professionals. They come in and they weigh all the option and make recommendations to the city council. I think they've done a great job. It's come and go. We've had Mickey Parrish on it, Danny Noodle a while now. We got Adam McJunkin and several of them are here. And talk to any one of those people. I think we got a great water manager, and there's a lot of work went into that, and nobody likes to raise rates, and everything is ridiculously high. Hope that gets better, but I like what Will said. As far as that 6 and 6 ever coming off, I wouldn't plan on it, ever. But we're just telling you the truth. None of us like it, I'll guarantee you.
Will the rates for the water itself ever come down? For the sewer?
I don't foresee it as long as we owe money on anything. Our lenders will never let us go down unless we're completely debt free. In order for us to lower rates, we have to get permission from our debt service. We are trying to cut some of that debt out. We have, a few years back we took in Denard. We're down to 2 big loans on them. We chose recently to pay off a couple of those loans that had a higher interest rate, and we weren't paying much on the principal. So we went ahead and paid them off, and now we're going to pay an extra $1,000 a month to try to get those other ones. So we're trying to get less debt, have less debt before we take this debt out. So we're hoping to get real close to paying off that other debt we've come in for before we get this. This. Electric costs are going up. Everything's going up. Water right now. We had a recommendation from ANRC. Their main recommendation is to go up minimum of 3% a year. So if you'll look into this ordinance that we're going to talk about later on tonight, it's what we're talking about, and then 3% thereafter until the next rate study that has to be done, the ANRC.
Because my water, I live alone,
Mm-hmm.
and my water bill's more than my electric bill. And I've had 2 different plumbers out there, and I do not have a leak anywhere.
Okay.
I don't have a dishwasher.
Do you know what your bill usually runs? I'm not trying to get in.
About $120 a month.
120. That's a lot of water.
Yeah.
Mine runs about 100 a month.
Yeah. You are water and sewer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So just know if you didn't have sewer, it'd be half of that, or a little under. It'd be a little under half. So our minimum bill for a sewer isn't as high as what our minimum bill is for water. So.
Mine's about 86 or something. We just don't.
We're at 6:01, but we'll end the public meeting when it ends, and we'll start late with the city council.
I mean, so right now, with the old rate, your minimum bill was at $47.65 if you have water and sewer in city limits. And then with the new rate change, it's $59.65. So your minimum bill, 1,000 gallons, is $59.65. And then it's real close to $8 per thousand thereafter.
Will this be all meters in the county?
It will be all meters on City of Clinton water bill. So if you're on Van Buren County, you won't see that. So that's a good question, though. So they did a big increase here years ago when they did the Clarifier project, and that went out to. So I live at Allred, and I see that $3 debt service Clarifier on my bill. So if you live on Van Buren County or B Branch's system, you won't see that $6 debt service. This is just for Clinton water customers.
And if you didn't sign in, there's a sign-in sheet, Robert, and whoever, you can sign for, someone. Make sure you sign that in for its public meeting everybody's here.
Will,
Yes.
for her, do you have on your phone,
Yes.
you have the eye on water?
Yes.
So it should show you every single day exactly how many gallons you're using.
Yes.
Okay.
But I have no leak.
Right.
I take a shower in the morning, I take a shower when I get home from work, and sometimes I take a shower at bedtime, and throw one small load of work clothes in and wash it every day. And then just very few dishes.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't have a dishwasher, nothing.
if your water bill with this new rate runs about $126, then you're using over 5,000 gallons of water a month. So, I mean, I've got this, so if you have any concerns on high users or anything, just know it won't go up on how much you use. It's only on the minimum bill. But with this new rate that's coming out in January, $126.95 is actually 5,000 gallons worth of water used a month. So a single household, that's a lot of water for a single household.
It would seem like it'd be on that app if you had a leak.
Well, yeah, it'll show you because, I know, on mine, and there's 4 of us, and I got an ice machine, that uses water, but I use 2,500 to 3,000 gallons a month. That's all we ever use. That 3,000 would be a big month. So
It says I use 132.38 gallons a day, average.
God, that seems like a lot.
Is there a possibility that a meter could be bad and over?
Yes. So if you ever have a doubt, we have several customers that call in. We send someone out and check it. And if we can't verify 100% sure then those meters that we have in the ground are warranted, and we can send them back in. I don't want to send every meter that's questioned back in. Don't get me wrong, because when I send it in, if Badger tells me that thing tests good and I didn't have a reason for it, they charge me for having that tested. But if I ever send it in and they test it and it comes back saying bad, they warranty me with a new meter. I will say, we got about 3,200 meters out there right now. I've had 2 that we've actually sent back in that had false readings. So, but we'll come out and check. And what we had at that point is we actually it was a ghost read. It is a flaw. I hate to even advertise it. I don't want to get another thing stirring, but we will check it. In that sense, we would shut the meter off, pull the meter out, and it would still read. We send those back off. We got warranted. We made it up on the customer, took it off the bill. But yes, I'm not going to say that any meter is 100%. So.
Okay. Is there anything else?
Is this just the list of what you're doing for the water? Because I'm just looking at the engineering design, 63,000. What's the design part of the engineering part for the filter and the tank rehabilitation? Wouldn't that be just swapping stuff out?
No.
In the perfect world, the health department and ANRC would not make us have, not trying to talk bad about my engineer here, but health department will not approve any project done without an engineer stamp on it. ANRC is not gonna give me any money unless I have an engineer draw this up. So ANRC has they have a limit on how much they can charge us. They're not letting the engineer service overcharge us, so it's in there whether, it don't matter what project I do. If I decide to run water from here to another part of town, I've gotta have it engineered first. Even though I think I'm smart enough to do it, it doesn't matter. It won't get approved. So that's just something you're not going to get without.
Yeah, and we have to we have to come up with a set of plans, specifications. It has to be approved by the health department, and then that is bid to a contractor. So there's just a lot of time spent and basically getting all the bids in, awarding the project, and then we also, ADH requires you to oversee the construction to make sure it's done as it was shown on plan and specs. So that's what that cost is for.
So to answer your question again on that, yes, so everything on this list is actually what we voted and approved. These have already been bid out. So there is another $1.5 million on that drinking water deal. And our plans as of right now is to put a plan together and send the ANRC on replacing some water lines. I know that's a concern. And that's where we're going to get in, and every city council member and every customer, is going to want their section of line changed out. We're going to have to look at the areas we spend the most time on, and yours is one. 95 West there on that lower part. It's a higher pressure plane as far as city goes, and it's an old AC line in there. So yes, that's one of the ones I'm going to ask to be replaced first. So
Years ago, I was told that because we are up on a hill, that the water tank is below us, is why we don't have water pressure up there. Well, I thought, well, what are the water pumps for?
yeah,
Because
so
we have no water pressure up there.
yeah, the tank is above you. It's on one of the higher points in town, and unfortunately, it's just not. In-town customers, city customers, do not have a lot of water pressure, and it's because of gravity. Now we don't even pump it to town. So we actually have what we call an unloading valve. It's an actuator valve that opens through electrical current. And when that tank says that it's needing water, electric current goes through, it opens up this valve and it fills that tank and then shuts it. So the pressure plane you're on is actually filled off of that 1 million gallon tank that's up there by the hospital. And that's all it is a control valve that opens to fill that tank, and then it gravities to the inside of downtown customers. Eventually, there is a way to get more pressure here, but I'll be honest with you, our lines cannot handle it. So eventually, one of these days, after we take out a few more notes, unfortunately, and we do get all the water lines in town replaced, then there is ways to add more pressure. We can come off the 1 million gallon tank, we can add another tank at a higher pressure plane, but right now, those lines downtown can't handle it.
Okay, so my mind just works like this, but so if you have 3,200 meters, right?
Mhm.
And you multiply that by 6, that's like $19,200, or on the high end for $12 for a 3,200, okay? That's like $38,000. That's per month. If you multiply that by 12 months, you're looking at $460,000. I don't understand.
Because we weren't just shy that you got to do all of your other. But
if you take $460,000 and you multiply that by 20 years, isn't there a different way of doing this where you're not loaning?
Where you got to pay that loan back at a 4% interest rate.
Yeah, isn't there a better solution? That's a lot of money.
We've looked at lending agencies and stuff, and the cheapest interest rate we've come up with is 4%.
NRC is.
It's good if you don't have to borrow money, obviously.
Undercut any interest rate.
That's like $9 million.
The only cheaper interest rate you can get would be USDA, and if you go USDA, there's a lot more requirements, so the project costs are going to go up. It would offset any interest rate
$5 million
savings.
for an entire city is not a lot of money.
Anything else? I don't know if I need a motion second to adjourn or just declare it, yeah.
No, just
What's that?
end the hearing. The hearing's complete. Just let them know.
Okay, well, thanks for coming. Make sure you sign,
We're
their
sending that out to 2,900 customers.
last word. I'm sorry. Hold up, guys, I can't hear. What? Thanks. Go ahead.
American Recovery Act.
And also for the infrastructure bill, and they did not get awarded.
Well, that just sucks. Because there's supposedly all this money coming out to rural America.
And that's what it is.
Yeah, but not money you have to, no,
So,
oh no, it's
so
not.
I will. This money we're getting is from the revolving fund. So one of them is coming from the drinking water revolving fund that the federal government's putting out there for ANRC to lend out. Yes, they did give some of it back with forgiveness and everything, but they look at Clinton and say that they look at our population served and they look at our debt to income rate, and they say that we didn't qualify for any forgiveness.
Median household income.
Yeah, so they look at us and say that we're not a poor area and they didn't give us any forgiveness, but we'll loan you this money at 4%.
But we have 100% school lunches because we're a poor area.
Today.
I was gonna say, that's supposed to be going away too.
So, just for example, B Branch, they applied for the same amount of, they applied for the same money from the same industry. They got 75% forgiveness. They asked for $4 million and they got 75% of that forgiven. And then they got to pay the other part back, but we didn't, we applied, we tried.
Well, as long as you try.
Yeah, we tried. And I watched the video. They actually video, and you can watch it live on when they awarded all that. So when they awarded that, there was questions from the ANRC board that popped up, said, hey, we're looking at Clinton, and their household, it looks like their debt service are going to have to go up so much to cover this that they should get some forgiveness. And they said, we ran out of forgiveness money. They only had so much allotted that they could forgive, and we didn't. We drawed the short straw.
Well, we did.
So
The other line always
I will
moves faster.
promise you that I will apply for any free money we can ever get.
Yeah.
So that's what we want.
What's the A&R?
Talking about that manganese, there was one water system in BB. Am I wrong about that? Was it BB?
It's Ozark.
I can't remember, but they got theirs 100% forgiven because they were trying to add a part to their system where they could remove manganese. I called Kyle as soon as I seen that happened and said, hey, next time this revolving fund comes back up, we need to put in for some of that free money to remove manganese. I mean, we're trying to with this permanganate and everything in the filter, but if we can get free money to do an add-on to get rid of that manganese, we will. But it was $4 million, 100%, that they got.
Well,
And they're a bigger
glad
system,
That fluoride's being taken out.
Hey, we're working on the fluoride.
Yeah.
We're working on the
Yeah.
fluoride.
Yeah.
But, I mean, to address yours real quick, where you were talking about $12 per person, that $12 per person is only for 942 customers.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Not the 3,200 customers.
Okay.
They're only doing 6 on it, And we played with that. I want you to know, we looked at lowering that debt service coverage. We looked at $5, $4, and then whatever we come up short, we had to spread in the sewer. So we played with enough that we thought that $6 debt service leveled it out to where we could do a sewer and not just charge everybody a huge amount.
So there are people in the city of Clinton that have septic systems,
Mm-hmm.
and so they'll be charged the $6.
They will be charged $6.
So if you do have the septic, which we do, you can't disconnect from the septic. I mean, you can't disconnect from the sewer system and put in your own septic, can you?
You cannot.
Okay.
No.
That's what I
And
wanted.
so the health department will not allow you to.
Okay.
And actually, the health department, I'm not trying to point fingers, not even going to ask where you live, but if you are on a septic and your septic fails and you're within 300 feet of the city sewer main, the health department's not going to allow you to repair your septic. And if you think that's a bad thing, we've got parts of town that all their septics are failing and they're begging for city sewer, and we don't have it for them. So it's going to come to where they're going to want everybody on city sewer. if the health department could do it, they would make you guys out at Denard be on city sewer. That's never going to happen because we can't get it out there. But health department doesn't want anybody on septic. It's going to get harder. And a lot of these new septic systems that are going in are $15,000 systems. You know, as the old days of putting a $2,500 septic tank in and getting it done is over. Everything's going up. So.
Again, thanks for coming out. He's easy to find, water department on Main Street, and we meet every second Thursday, 4:30. If you have any questions, call him. Definitely get the meter checked out. Appreciate the commissioners here. Last word for the council, anybody? Make sure you sign in if you didn't. I'll declare this public meeting adjourned. We'll take a couple of minutes and we'll start our city council.